Hello and welcome back to House of Astralis. My name is Kayla, and today, as always, I will be your cosmic guide as we look into your new moon in Pisces story. Today will be another pick a card reading, and before we get into that, I of course want to thank all of you for the love and support on my channel, on my page, on this video. Thank you so much in advance. I do also want to quickly say that my website and my Etsy shop are up if you are looking for a more personalized reading. As always, I'll also be talking briefly about this new moon in Pisces and the astrology behind it. I intend it just for those who are either wanting to learn or interested but not wanting to dive into the depths of astrology. This is just supposed to be really quick and really simple and easy for you to follow along. So with this, we are closing out the astrological year with this new moon in Pisces, and the timing of this one is significant. This new moon lands just before the sun shifts into Aries and the spring equinox begins. We are sitting right at the edge, the final exhale before everything ignites. If you haven't felt it already, life is springing up. It is ready to be alive and out and be warm. I don't know about you, but I live in SoCal and it is hot. It is very, very hot, very warm, and I've already been seeing nature really just starting to come to life. Honestly, back in February, end of January, just because of how warm it's been. But Pisces is the last zodiac. It holds everything, every feeling you've processed this year, every dream that didn't quite take shape, every emotion you set aside because life kept moving. Pisces is where all of that lives. And this new moon is asking you to release it before you step into the new cycle, this new astrological year, before we enter Aries. This is not the new moon for aggressive goal setting or concrete plans. This is what Aries season is for, and it's right around the corner. This new moon is softer than that. Pisces asks, what are you still carrying that was never yours to keep? What vision keeps returning to you, not because you're chasing it, but because it's trying to find you? What becomes possible when you stop forcing and start trusting? This lunation is about surrender, not giving up. Surrendering control how things are supposed to look. Acceptance. Because some things can't be willed into existence. Some seeds need to be planted in water and trusted to grow in their own time. And that's the invitation right now. If you want to honor this energy, keep it simple. Write down what you're releasing. A fear, a pattern, something that's run its course. Offer it somewhere. It could be to water, to flame, to earth. Then set one quiet intention. Not a plan, just a feeling you want to move toward. You don't have to arrive anywhere before Aries season starts. Healing continues even when you can't see it happening. Rest before you rise, trust the unseen. Every ending is a prelude to something new. And with that, let's take a look at your piles and let's pull some cards. Pile 1, we've got May You Create Peaceful Harmony as Your Life's Purpose with the Antique Anatomy Tarot. And then pile 2, May Your Head and Heart Speak with One Voice with the Tarot of the Nile. So I'll go ahead and briefly let you pick and choose. You can pause here. Welcome, pile 1. I also decided to read some charms today, so I'll be doing that as well near the end. But to get us started, we have the Hanged Man. And how perfect and funny and very well timed, because this is a card of Neptune, and Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces. So this is very dreamlike, or at least being able to see from another perspective. The message I immediately got with this card was that you are being invited to see something differently. Quite literally. You're too close to a situation, you're too close to something, and you're being offered this opportunity to check yourself, one I just heard, and then to get a different viewpoint. Like literally get off the ground and get a higher vantage point. And I'm seeing this in a couple different ways, maybe literally, but also in a spiritual sense or in a more objective sense. Get the high ground so that you're not so close to it and then you can view it properly. This Hanged Man is not upside down. It's upright, meaning you don't have to go through loops and bounds. It's just like this tiny tweak that is guiding you to look, your intuition is letting you know that there's something not quite right, and you don't have to do a whole lot to see it in a different light. Next up, we've got the King of Pentacles, and this shows up as what you need to dissolve. I like how this is a card with literal boundaries because of the coin here, and the boundary needs to dissolve. So if you've been too tight, maybe too caught up in this situation, too caught up in the material realm and possibly even just finances or money in general, dissolve this sense. And I just heard sense of security and safety, root chakra. So if you're too caught up in trying to be safe in the material form, you're not giving yourself space to be safe in other areas of your life, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. So let go of this control and this rigidity of the coins and dissolve the boundary that's making you think this is your only way. This is part of that looking at it from another perspective with the Hanged Man. You're being intuitively guided to hang up this behavior, to dissolve this behavior, the King of Pentacles, so that you can be free from that, go on and do other things. It's a belief that the money is the only way, which makes sense in the society that we live in a product and profit driven society. It makes us feel like that is the only way. But Neptune, Pisces, and Jupiter come in to say no, there is more to life than that, and not to be so focused on it. As a suit, as the king, this could also be someone that you need to dissolve with. And I'm told to leave it at that. Don't go into it, everybody's story is different, so I will leave it at that. Take what resonates and leave the rest behind, of course. Lastly, the Eight of Swords comes in to say that you are being asked to let go of certainty and to free yourself from that and the logistics of things. With the swords, it's holding you back and keeping you tied to some rigid thinking. And we see that a lot here. There's rigidity in this whole spread. The beam here that's really stable but also rigid, and then the boundary with the pentacles, and then the swords. They're keeping this flower, they're keeping you held back because of a mental thought and narrative that is too logical, that is way too rigid for the spiritualness of Pisces, of this new moon. You don't always have proof that something will work out, but you have to trust enough to move forward so that you can do something about it, so that there's movement instead of staying stuck. Free yourself from that. This is your invitation into faith and having faith and trust in whatever will work out for you. Your mind all caught up like this is disharmonious. And it's the opposite of creating peaceful harmony as your life's purpose. If your mental is keeping you stuck, then that also alludes to needing this new perspective on something. Kind of step away or step out to have that objective view regarding a thought form or thought narrative. Being able to rise above and see past that. I was drawn to the what looks like paper here, like an empty piece of paper, and I heard rewrite your story. The swords are just that, communication, writing. And for you to have this objective view, step away from it, you can rewrite things. You can dissolve some boundaries and rigid thinking and get yourself out of this bubble and bloom. There's something with that with all of these images as well. Yeah, with the Eight of Swords, I'm seeing the flowers are being hindered, maybe even hurt by the swords. And then here with the King of Coins, the flowers are not integrating. They're being separated and kept away from the king, the figure. But with the Hanged Man, they're with each other. They're able to cohabitate and live and grow with each other. So that's part of someone's message as well. Lastly, for your good fortune, we have a powerful transformation is in store. Embrace it. Transformation, love that. New moon, new me. New moon. Who this? With the Eight of Swords too, when you're able to free yourself, that in itself is a transformation. Letting go of what kept you back and being able to step into something new and seeing things from a different perspective. Like, all of that is transformation. And if we think the Hanged Man, maybe that leads to death. I mean, it does in order 12 and then 13. Death is a transformation. It's an opportunity to let go and dissolve the old stuff so that you can live in the new. Live with that new perspective of life and be reborn. Okay, next we've got the charms. Firstly, I do immediately want to point out that the centralness of the charms is closer to this Hanged Man. It's exactly landing on what is guiding you, that intuitive nudge to step away, the spiritual vision to rise above the situation, that so you can see it from a different perspective. This is the wisdom here. The key is exactly that. And it's in between the king and the Hanged Man. So the wisdom that the key is trying to show, that when you follow this intuitive nudge, your intuitive nudges in general, and are led to finally dissolve what needed to be dissolved, the rigidity, you unlock an opportunity. There is wisdom in this path of rising above to dissolve. And I put an apple seed here. This little thing is an apple seed as a representation of new seeds and new beginnings, and it's damn near on the Hanged Man. This is where all the growth is. It's right in between this. Trusting your intuition and then finally dissolving it. There's sometimes work that happens in the middle, and that's where growth, that's where all of these opportunities are. And the sun right here on the King of Coins is illuminating something. There's something to be illuminated when you dissolve this. Or at least the illumination comes from having that perspective. The moon is here as well in the middle, next to the Hanged Man, of course. And the moon in the tarot is ruled by Pisces, I believe. So that's interesting. It's just like moon on moon. It's wanting to help you unlock these mysteries. There's mystery in this, yes, but there's also illumination. And the sun is above the moon, and the sun casts light, more light than the moon, and it'll cast this message of the feather. There is a message here with this king. Maybe when you soften those boundaries and the rigidness, you'll receive that message. This can be a message from this person or someone you feel like represents this in your life, someone stable and grounded. The sun, I just heard, is also transformation. It's that fire and passion. But you have to go through the intuition first in order to take that action. The shell is at the very tip of the Hanged Man, and it represents the emotions, healing, and flow. All this card, this is all Pisces. This is all part of this new moon. And with the cowrie shell here, face up, just underneath these 8 of Swords, is telling me that you will receive guidance. You're not going to be alone here as you trust and as you free yourself from these bonds. You will be guided and protected. Maybe be a little bit more open to it and call in the guidance of your highest and best good, because it's a little far. It wants to help, but spirit can't help you unless you ask it to, or unless you give your consent and are willing to be open and listen. So I don't see the spiral here. And the spiral represents the divine connection and wisdom, and it's interesting that it's not here. It might have fallen on the floor. I don't see it, but it's not here, and so it's hidden. And that makes me wonder if it's been cast out or not allowed to come in. So again, with that, if you want help, you do have to call upon it. It may feel hidden and invisible, but it's always with you. And lastly, we do have the tree, this charm. It is face down and away from all the other elements, which typically represents stability and grounding and ancestors, which I find interesting, again, that it's upside down, but also near the Hanged Man, because the Hanged Man is not grounded. It's suspended up above. So for it to be alone, in a way, it really shows that the earth element within yourself, within your life, is underattended. So you may need some of that grounding, some physical care and connection to stability, maybe because you're putting too much emphasis on the material stability and not putting it enough on the spiritual stability. again, those emotions too. But with that, pile one, I hope you enjoyed your reading. I hope you have a fantastic new moon. Go ahead and set some helpful intentions. Go with the flow, loosen up, and I hope you have some fantastic insights. Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to read for you again next time, and I'll either see you in the next reading or I'll see you in the next pile. Hello and welcome back, pile 2. This is your reading. I did set up some charms, so I'll go ahead and cast them here at the end of the reading for some extra insight and guidance. But to start us off, we have the 9 of Pentacles. So this stands out to me to say that if you are being intuitively nudged to try something, I don't know if it's new, but try something that'll bring you off the beaten path, bring you somewhere where you may be alone and isolated and not like the other ones, I should say, not conforming. If you're feeling an intuitive nudge for an idea for that or something that'll lead you down this path, I think this is just confirming that for you. But also, if you have been craving some alone time as well, I think this is saying that your intuition is nudging you for a reason, and maybe finding some alone time to be with nature, you can receive a message somewhere. I don't know, the bird is just standing out to me as a message for you, and it's when you're able to disconnect and go off, and not necessarily because you're alone, but because you're able to disconnect and not conform with those around you and really be open to this idea. We have the 10 of Pentacles, and this coming up as what needs to dissolve is very important to what the first card said. So firstly, we have the progression of 9 and then 10, but for the first message to come out and say, go off the beaten path, and then this as the what needs to be dissolved is literally those expectations of what people want you to be, especially family, of society and what you're expected to do. The beaten path, or the well-formed, maintained, paved path, is the same for everyone. But if that is not your thing, then you're being guided to walk away from that. Easier said than done, of course, but I'm being reminded to say, may your head and heart speak with one voice. You may be feeling pulled in a couple of different directions because of what you should do, what you're being told to do, and what you actually want to do. But here, even if you choose to follow what everyone else has followed, make sure that's because of your own choice. Don't let pressure make that choice for you. Lastly, we have the 4 of Cups. This comes up as trust, of you being asked to let go of certainty. You don't need proof, but you just need to have faith that either your cups will be filled or that there will be help and guidance from spirit when needed. And that just because you don't do what others are expecting you to do, you'll still be safe and emotionally stable. Have faith that it'll work out for you regardless, but if you are really wanting to step out on your own, then you're being asked to take that risk. Take the risk of uncertainty of how it will look if you don't have support from those around you, but spirit is always here to support you. Trust that the pieces will come together. Like, you will always have what you need as well. If you need a fourth cup will come. Also, so I just got drawn to, I can't really tell if the figure is looking at the cloud and seeing what's going on, or if the figure is more so looking down. But I just got like this figure seeing the hand and being like, what the hell is that? It's kind of believing the impossible, believing what you sense even when you can't see it, or when you can and it seems crazy to believe it anyways. Believe in the impossible. And your good fortune is your intuition is your greatest guide. Trust your inner voice. So very, very on theme with Pisces in itself, but also may your head and heart speak with one voice. That's your intuition. May you not disregard it, and may you follow your intuition. Trust it. Trust it even when it seems impossible and you're unsure. Alrighty, next up for the charms, I'm going to go ahead and cast these now. Okay, the first thing that comes out to me is that a lot of them are upside down. I would say most of them, let me see if the feather, okay, the feather, you can't really tell. But the first one that stood out to me was the trees here, because the trees do represent your ancestry and your groundedness, but for them to be not face down, I guess, but facing upside down, it's showing that there's disharmony in the roots with this Ten of Pentacles and with the family or society trying to dig their heels in a certain way and not give the opportunity for growth that isn't conforming to it, to the rest of the line, I suppose. The moon being upside down here as well, to me indicates maybe something in the maternal line, because the moon is more feminine and linked with the moon, the mother. So there could be something regarding this in that maternal line, the lineage. Maybe it's like stepping into a role that someone said you had to take because of your position. I was talking to a friend and she was saying that in her culture, the eldest daughter would be the one everyone would turn to for basically psychic guidance or divinatory guidance in their culture, just because they're the eldest. So they'll have to be trained and made sure that they're doing this work so that they can help others in the community. But if this is not something you want to do, then in this case, in this reading, it's saying make that choice yourself. Go out, take some time for yourself, figure it out, and then make that decision. Don't let their expectations tell you what to do. And the paperclip being here is also interesting because I see this as holding things together. So that paired with the trees being upside down, things have been unstable for a while, and maybe for at least one of you, the storyline is that they're expecting you to hold down the fort. They're putting everything on your shoulder to hold it together, but ultimately it doesn't rely on you. I think there's a bigger issue here than whether you choose to conform or not. The sun being upside down right next to the card that's supposed to be that intuitive guidance is sort of interesting because the sun upright would be more so transformation, passion and energy, but with the upside down, face down I should say, it's blocked energy. So it's there, but maybe not, you're not allowing it to actually be a spark and you're not letting it form and build. But there is some fire there, some passion. You just have to unlock it, allow it to come in for you, especially as the feather is all the way off to the left. You want clarity and insight and guidance and messages, just like with this bird here, but if you're blocking all of that, then it's going to be a little bit harder. So maybe just ease up a little bit, ease up on some expectations, and just be open-hearted and allow some clarity to come in, illumination and energy, transformation. There's transformation that wants to occur, but it's being blocked. So you have to find out what that is. And I mean, it's not hard to say here. Of course, everyone's will be different, but even the seashell, the emotions, and the healing is face down right on top of the family line. So there's something regarding that needs to be looked at and addressed. And maybe that can help unblock the energy and the transformative powers here. The key is also face down. The key is supposed to be those opportunities and unlocking wisdom. And I suppose there's opportunities here within the Four of Cups itself. And even though it's face down, the key still represents mysteries and having to go forward with it, even though you're uncertain. You may not have it all figured out yet, but still trust and have faith. Because there is divine connection here. Literally the hand reaching out to give the water, the spiral is indicating that there's wisdom in the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups itself is evaluating really what emotionally works and what doesn't. Being truthful with yourself and asking if this is where you want to be or where you would like to be. And the apple seed here, I put it in as a sign of growth and opportunity, literally a seed to grow. And it's after the Four of Cups. So it's after you've come to terms or made your choice, kind of evaluated your stance on things and take action. That's where the tree will grow. That's where the seed will start to sprout. And lastly, the cowrie shell is upside down right next to the intuition is your greatest guide. Trust your inner voice. This to me is hidden knowledge, which sometimes intuition can feel that way, and protection. Maybe you are blocking or protecting yourself too much and not allowing the knowledge and the intuition to come through. I don't know, just it being so far away from the feather, which is the messages and intuition, there's an opposition here. Cowrie shell being upside down is just like it's blocked. You might have blocked it somehow, unintentionally, and there's a lot of work, emotional work to be done in order to get through that. But with that, pile two, I'm being guided to end it here. I hope this message resonated for you and you received any insights. I hope you have a fantastic new moon in Pisces and a great astrological new year with Aries season and with the Aries new moon coming up next month. Thank you so much for being here and letting me read for you. I can't wait to read for you again next time, and I'll either see you in another pile or I'll see you in my next reading.